Tonight we're going to see how the Millennium Peace Plan and ideal democracy will come to the rescue of the world. First, we're going to review the several ways to rescue the world from global terrorism and totalitarianism. First of all, could Superman rescue the world from global terrorism and totalitarianism by using super force? No, that's not possible. Then, could the super United States and its allies rescue the world from global terrorism and totalitarianism by using military force and diplomacy? No, war and terrorism will continue into the foreseeable future. Finally, can the Super Millennium Peace Plan rescue the world from global terrorism and totalitarianism by forming all of the nations of the world into a global democracy? Yes, it's ideal democracy to the rescue. After centuries of war and violence, the Millennium Peace Plan will peacefully legislate global terrorism, all forms of violence, and totalitarianism out of existence forever. The world is faced with a problem that is insoluble by the usual military force and diploma. 3. The Islamic extremists are using terrorism to take over the world for Islam, and totalitarian nations threaten war and oppress their citizens. 4. The free nations are resisting this violence and oppression, but progress is very slow. Death and destruction continue in our chaotic world. 5. Now is the time to finally end all of the inhumanity that plagues the world today. An ideal democracy is the only solution. Let's form a global democracy as soon as possible. 6. Religion and any form of dictatorship are totally unacceptable to govern people. 7. Ideal democracy is the only form of government that allows people to govern themselves, living in peace, freedom, equality, and according to the rule of self-made laws. 8. Only by implementing the Millennium Peace Plan and requiring every nation in the world to become an ideal democracy and a member nation in the united world will war, violence, terrorism, and totalitarianism be eliminated from the face of the earth forever. 9. Since Islamic extremists are using war and the violence of terrorism to take over the world for the Islamic religion, the free democracies must use the Millennium Peace Plan to peacefully take over the world for ideal democracy. The ultimate destiny of the world is to become a peaceful and cooperative global democracy. The Millennium Peace Plan will bring permanent peace and freedom to the world by terminating global terrorism and all forms of totalitarianism. First, trying to defeat the religious fanatics of Islamic extremism or the fanatical leaders of totalitarianism with military force and diplomacy is not working in today's world. The reason? Fighting battles or working on treaties does not remove the underlying cause of the war or oppression, which is that fanatics of all kinds in today's world are free to wreak havoc wherever and whenever they choose. There are no restrictions on them. 3. Nothing is stopping the Islamic extremists from committing more terrorist or militant acts. And nothing is stopping the fanatics of totalitarianism from oppressing their citizens or planning to expand their dominance. These fanatics could even trigger a global nuclear war. 4. The Millennium Peace Plan offers a political solution to stop all war and violence and resolve all other international problems brought on by the fanatics of Islamic extremism and totalitarianism. 5. The Millennium Peace Plan will terminate global terrorism and totalitarianism by forming all of the nations of the world into a peaceful and cooperative global democracy, the United World. 6. Every nation is required to be a member nation in the United World and agree to abide by the United World Constitution. 2 major articles are: A. War and violence are banned worldwide and there is total world disarmament. This eliminates all war and violence from the world. No weapons, no armies, no wars. B. Every member nation is required to adopt the ideal democracy constitution, which includes separation of church and state. First, ideal democracy eliminates totalitarianism by requiring the citizens to govern themselves. Second, separation of church and state eliminates Islamic extremists or any religion by not allowing any religious law in the government of any member nation. 7. Therefore, the United World will eliminate global terrorism, totalitarianism, and any other international problems by legislating them out of existence forever. 8. In the United World, every member nation has given up their national sovereignty in order to gain peace, freedom, equality, human rights, and individual sovereignty for their citizens. All member nations and all of their world citizens are treated equally in the United World. 9. Finally, the world citizens of each member nation will govern themselves in an ideal democracy, living in peace, freedom, equality, and unlimited opportunity in a peaceful and cooperative global democracy. 10. In conclusion, faced with the continuing threat of terrorism or other violent groups and the bullying and threatening of totalitarianism in a nuclear world, the peaceful nations have only 2 choices. First, either continue to fight war and violence with war and violence well into the future, with the threat of nuclear terrorism or nuclear war as a real possibility. Or 2, implement the Millennium Peace Plan, form the United World, and require every nation in the world to be an ideal democracy and a member nation in the United World. This gives the world back to the people and allows them to govern themselves in an ideal democracy with separation of church and state in a peaceful global democracy. Then we can leave all of the war and violence to Hollywood, which is where it belongs. Now, I've standing next to this Millennium Peace Plan sign, and this would be the United World flag, which represents all of the nations in a global democracy. Now, to all of you citizens of the world who have listened to this presentation of the Millennium Peace Plan, and agree that it is a truly workable plan to bring about global peace, freedom, and equality by forming all of the nations of the world into a global democracy, please contact your government representatives and urge its acceptance. A global democracy will change the world in a wonderful way.